through that budget that we kind of created, if you'd like to do that, because we had that kind of back of the envelope. No? Okay. So I won't show it then, but we did do like a projected costs, and we did it like kind of a financial analysis based on that original layout, based on the $35 a square foot rent that the Eastern Market people did, based on like projected cafe income, projected gallery income. So they were all like kind of rough estimates. The bulk, the heavy numbers, which were from Eastern Market, like cost of kitchen build out and the rental system, we got from them. But the idea was, you know, the idea was to like put the cart before the horse. If we don't, because we were kind of following that Eastern Market financial model. So like, how do we make their model work? And then we found that we wound up with, you know, enough space for 25 makers and a tiny gallery. So the point then of this meeting is to kind of take a step back, understand the goals and priorities, and then use that framework of a budget where we had cafe income, grants income, educational grant income, Eastern Market.
Now what you're doing is you're creating bridges and opportunities to learn from culture to culture, but you're still preserving or, you know, protecting that space so that it is affordable for everybody, but you still can generate other ways to make it sustainable for people that have resources.
Sure. No, yeah, no, that resonates. We like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I wonder if like just to try and understand again like how much of this we need. You know, if we could kind of talk about, so we've talked about a couple of different types of people, right? Like there's people who are just going in looking for training, right? Like they're not coming with pots and pans, they're just looking for training. Obviously we can accommodate them. There's people who at the other end will have their program, they're trying to sell food at Eastern Market or food to Whole Foods, and they've got their carts and they're coming in with their pots and pans and renting the kitchen and theirs. And then there's, so I guess, you know, what I'm wondering is how many of those spaces, like how much of those permanent kind of almost at the point of having their own restaurant spaces do we want versus trying to find that middle ground of somebody who has a recipe, can come in with ingredients, maybe a couple of pots, but otherwise they kind of have a lower footprint. They're really at that starter stage, and then maybe after that they can go to an Eastern Market shared kitchen where they need more space. But I don't know how we could like quantify that as a group here.
I do the kitchens for Cinco de Mayo, and a lot of the people have to, we have the festivals, and we have to get, they have to get health licenses and permits and stuff. And so you're renting out this kitchen. Is there going to be somebody there to regulate, to make sure that the food is at the right temperature and be done at a certain thing? Because we had to go through a lot of classes to be able to do that. But you're renting out the kitchen to somebody, they make something, they make the salsa, or they make mole, which is the hardest thing, because then they transport it and somebody gets sick because mole spoils real quick.
Yeah.
Who's
So,
liable?
How does the Eastern Market handle
Yeah,
it?
that's why we're hoping the Serve Safe classes we're talking about, you know, collaborating with
But
the
who's gonna
people
be-
that
who's gonna
graduate.
be doing it in
So,
the kitchen?
so at Eastern Market, the kitchen itself is certified as
Yeah,
an
that's-
environment, and then anybody who, you know, it's a membership, and that's kind of
They have to be.
so to be a member, yeah, to sign up, have your storage space, you have to get certified, and that's also part of what they're offering, right? Like, come with us, you'll have a kitchen, you're gonna get certified, so the moment you want to start a restaurant, you can just buy one, move in, and you're good to go.
So, but if I want to go in there and use it for catering,
Yeah.
will you allow me without being certified?
So other kitchens, especially ones that use meat and things like that, and that's a whole different world, so I'm sure we won't be doing that, but they more have a model where there's somebody there who's certified also, so you come in and are kind of working alongside of them, and it's a person. So yeah, these are the,
Pays for that person.
so that would be part of the fee structure, and that's the kind of thing we have to figure out.
Because they're not going to be cheap.
Yeah.
You got it.
There's a couple of biggest, the cafe is really
running the Welcome Center, that's one of my most required, or questions for people. Where can I get a cup of coffee? There's nothing in the area. So that is a really big thing. I mean, even for travelers.
And Bev, what kind of coffee do you think most people are looking for? Is it just a styrofoam
Canadians
cup?
are
Or
looking for Tim Hortons.
But I mean, it's
But if they're here, we can sell that, we can sell that to them. We
Better
can,
than Tim Hortons.
yes, we can tell them that. I mean, we push people that ask to places. And that's what we would say was, oh, we've got a great coffee shop down the way. Hopefully, that's what we'll be able to say. But who's gonna manage all this?
Great.
Right, you don't have time.
we need to structure it so that,
You've gotta have employees to be
oh,
able
yeah,
to
yeah,
manage this. It's like, and then where does that money come from?
yeah.
Because that's, I mean, you've already got your hand in so many fires.
That's a great idea.
I'm thinking, this is a large project.
Oh, yeah.
See, we're hoping some of the answers come from you all. I mean, tap into Crystal Ray. I've got somebody at Chaz.
Well, it's just because they do that.
I have a barista, a young woman that works at Chaz, and when she heard we were gonna open a cafe, her eyes got big and she wants here. You know, she's been trained, you know, so
Well,
I'm
could that be
hoping-
an idea, like a pop-up barista? Like somebody who really wants to,
I
like,
like that.
really enjoys coffee and wants to, you
But you
know,
offer
rent
both.
this
We'll come and taste.
space and,
We'll have a German mix here with Victor as
You rent-
a pop-up
you rent-
barista.
yeah. Or maybe that's part of the pop-up. Maybe if they
That's a great idea.
specialize with some like different pan dulces, they do like empanadas and coffee, and then that vendor can come in and set up, and then another day, you know, a different type of just sweet bread
Oh,
and.
that's a great idea.
But your coffee can run the gamut of, you do your average, your basic cup of joe, and then if somebody wants lattes or, you can have both.
Yeah, you just come in on weekends. and-
Add-ons.
Even McDonald's does that, sure.
Yeah.
Basic to latte to mochas.
Mhm.
Ice coffee.
Yep, that too.
So what, and what, I'm sorry.
Come back.
What hours are you thinking if you were to do the cafe in the morning? Coffee shop?
Probably the same hours that everything else is open, 9 to 5.
Oh,
generally.
no.
So that's
No.
my problem.
No,
Right,
no.
right.
I'm an
6
early
a.m.
riser.
6 a.m.
There's nothing worse than not having to, I mean, it's coffee.
Yeah, a
It
closed
should be
coffee shop.
6 a.m.,
Right.
6 a.m., 6:30. I mean,
For,
We hear you.
another problem is you have
have
here,
other shifts. Yeah.
well, no, it's people that are on their way to work,
That's my point, yeah.
they want to drive through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's no drive through.
there won't be a drive-through.
And this was tried when Larry was running it here. I mean, I've been in the building for 11 years. Larry tried to get people in here to have coffee shops. Wanted to lease them the end space and try to get a variance to be able to have a drive-through on the end of the building, and it never worked.
Well, I
He
think
could
then you
never.
They do not recognize this parking. But the big sign out there pointing,
But we do. Even the Welcome
they
Center
still
does. Parking in the rear with, we got signs with arrows, and they don't.
they still,
So,
No.
so signage is key sometimes.
Yeah.
Signage is a big deal.
We also have to remember, this is a new day. 7 years ago, what was going on is completely different
Oh,
from
I
what's
agree.
going on today. And
Yeah.
so we need to just learn from what didn't work 7 years ago, and what can we do now, and who's around now. We have tons of joggers and walkers and people that are more pedestrian that would stop in for coffee. And once the train station, there's a lot of other stuff bubbling up, so you
Yes.
will have,
Let me
you will
check
have the
time.
traffic.
It starts at 5 o'clock in the morning. You don't tell me that they're not
No,
gonna.
I mean, we're ready to contend with whatever the demand is, so. So
Wi-Fi
Yeah,
is
we
a
to
big,
work it.
you gotta have.
we had a question back here and then Eva.
Well, it's not a question, it's like if I were to put a request for a coffee, it would be a Café de Olla. Like, I just love that, a coffee that you can't get anywhere else. And you cannot get Café de Olla anywhere here. So I think differentiating themselves would be the best thing. Because why do what Astro does? Why do what Madcap does?
If you're gonna sell it.
Right.
You need to make money.
But I think you're gonna differentiate yourself, that is what's gonna sell it. If you're gonna look like everybody else, then go to someone else. That's why.
I agree. They're here in Mexican
The
town.
official
Why
record.
would I-
HOJA.
And then in the winter, what?
H O J A.
Go get something else.
So,
Because even the barber shop on Michigan Avenue upstairs is a coffee bar.
when you make coffee, is that a cheaper way to make coffee as well? Because equipment is very expensive. And I know there is a unique Middle Eastern cafe in Dearborn, and they just opened their second location. And when you go in there, they use all the old school, they use these tabletops, and they put the old school
Like the bun coffee maker or
crater on
something?
it, or whatever they call the crafters, and then they do it almost like with the espresso. And they have different styles they use. They use a lot of different herbs and spices and stuff. But I kind of look at their setup and I think, how simple. Like, and I know, like, because we've had a lot of people come to us and talk about cafes, and the first thing they talk about is the amount of the equipment and how expensive it is, right? And I'm wondering if that's a good place to start.
And
where
what-
you're
what's the
not-
name
Be in the
of the,
future, like a future thing.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you
yeah,
think
and then
about-
build
Start
upon
small
that,
and
yeah,
build it.
yeah, build upon that, and then you attract people, again, to the culture and what's unique about this area, and then build from there. I'll have to find out the name of the place, but yeah, they don't even have like big traditional espresso makers or any of that
And
stuff.
that's
It's
probably
all-
an attraction for a lot of people.
Yes, so people, when I go in there, it's amazing because you could tell there's people like from way out in the burbs, they look like they're from West Bloomfield, you know, and then you have your, you know, rooted culture that's already there from, you know, families that are sitting there with their sons or, you know, so it's very, and I love it because it's so diverse. When you go in there, you're bringing people together again, right? And if that's kind of some of the goal of it, it provides a really unique experience that some people or cultures would never be able to mix if it wasn't for that kind of space.
yeah, please share that, the name with us. Eva, did you start?
So, no, I was just gonna say that the reason why I asked you the question about the welcomes, I mean, the Mercado across the street is because that's, you said 5 years from now, it'll be back in your hands? No?
They have multiple options.
Well, I would think that that should be a part of your plan as well, is if that is, because you're talking about 2 years from now, that's 20, right, 2020?
Next year.
Oh, what am I thinking? I thought I saw a 2-year plan, no?
Phase three.
Oh, I just, yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. But what I was thinking was, you know, if you could somehow align it with the Mercado as far as any future plan.
Yeah, no, we're open to working with Gleaners and Ford, and or if not working with them, depending on the direction they go, so.
Oh,
I don't know, you know, they really haven't, Rob can tell you.
They got multiple options, 5-year options. As I
Yeah.
recall, several.
they
Yeah,
have?
Yeah,
Yes.
Ford does. Ford does.
Does Forgotten Harvest do a shared kitchen?
That's almost done.
I'm sorry?
Forgotten Harvest do a
I
shared
don't
kitchen?
know. Victor, you had a question?
Yeah, earlier I was thinking this wall, or we were debating how big the gallery should be.
Uh-huh.
And I was thinking in phase 1, it could be as big as it needs to be, no? And then in phase 2, it could be made smaller if we change our mind.
Yeah, we kind of did look at that, right, just kind of taking this space. I mean, it would be nice to at least, like, I hate to like say we're gonna build a wall and then just tear that thing down, but I agree, like, I think that starting, like, that was really the first thing that I was thinking of is, well, let's just start by making this bigger, and then it turned into, does it need to ever get smaller, you know?
I'm sorry, Luis, what was your reference about Forgotten Harvest?
Forgotten Harvest, I know they have a shared kitchen somewhere. I just didn't know if it was something that we have tied to this
Well,
place.
because it's a different organization, this is Gleaners.
That's Gleaners,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So I was just thinking, I think that's more of a nonprofit model maybe that goes hand in hand with what you were
That's what you
saying,
want, it's a
and be a nonprofit.
Yeah, we're all nonprofits.
Where the shared kitchen is.
Gloria, then the.
I don't know if just a reference to an organization called ROC, Restaurant Opportunity Center. Now, they're very different, but part of what they do, they're working on fair salaries for restaurant workers, which is not what we're saying here, but within their space, they train people for hospitality, how to serve, and they also different foods. So to capitalize on the richness of the Latino food and the hospitality of the Latino people, we are the best. No offense to any Americans or other national, but we are. You know,
Italians are pretty.
no, but
I get the best of both worlds.
you have the teaching of both people for hospitality and foods, and so Monday's tamale learning night. That could, I mean, it goes on your idea of incubator or those kinds of things. And they are also, they have some things that they do that they have learned that might be useful.
I have approached them. We actually tried to get them in this building.
Oh,
And
okay.
so it's a tremendous organization. And it's employee-owned and training, lots of training facilities. We wanted them here, but
So you already have the contact.
yeah, we were still in contact, so maybe for training purposes.